But we were taught to put a little pink card. I went and got just cardstock, hot pink cardstock, cut them up in pieces, and when you are pre-profiling women, you have an opportunity to, and we were taught to pre-profile, because if you pre-profile, guess what? The chances of that woman coming to that event rise dramatically, because now you've gotten that relationship started with her, and you're encouraging her to come, and you're asking her, Jen, if there was anything you could change or improve about the condition or appearance of your skin, what would you love to see happen? And then she's going to give you something. Oh, if you could control the oil, if you could get rid of the pimples, if you could take care of the dry skin, if you could get rid of the dark circles, if you could whatever. And then you're going to say, oh my gosh, Jen, I can't wait till we get together at Vicky's house on Thursday. We are going to take care of that oily skin of yours. Can't wait to see you there. And in her bag that I'm putting together, it's going to be an oily skin bag. And I'm going to put a little card in there, and I put especially for Jen. And it's in her bag. Now that you have these amazing roll-up bags, there needs to be cute little pink or purple ties, because then that'll tell you whether it's the normal to dry or the combination to oily. And on that little piece of yarn or ribbon or whatever you have, there's going to be a little card. You know, you can go to like the Michael's or whatever, and you can get little gift cards that have little holes in them even, and you can just write on them. And it would be especially for Jen, especially for Barb. And then you're going to put it on there. And now, who owns this bag? Jen does. Barb does. And you're going to have them, hopefully, one for every single client. And you're going to open it up. When you get to the point where Charlotte just did, they're going to each open their own across their lap. Because guess who owns it now? They do. Big difference. Okay, I didn't want to do that. I thought that was extremely pushy to have those bags on the table with the women. I was pushing this product on them, Cheryl Warfield. How dare me do this? I think this is terrible. I mean, I almost argued with her. Can you imagine arguing with Cheryl Warfield? And but she said, Cathy, you have to trust me. And I said, okay, I trust you. She says, I want you to put a complete collection together for each woman, and I want you to put it on the table behind her mirror. And when they sit down, you're going to say to them, so excited you all are here tonight. Now, some of you came for fun, some of you came for a new lip color, and some came for everything. So I've come prepared for each of you in case you each would like an entire collection. Now, I want you to know I was scared to death. I just felt like the whole time these women are looking at me like I was a pushy saleswoman. Well, I wasn't. I was told also that when you get to the close, the table close, which is the first close, and now, of course, I wanted to do individual closes, and you want to kind of take them away from the table. Well, taking away from the table was taking them from here to where Jen is sitting, because that's all the room there was in the entire apartment. So there was not taking them away from the table. It was kind of I shoved the girls into the bath, into the little kitchen, which was so small only 2 people could get in the kitchen at one time. But I got them in there to have their refreshments so I could talk to one person at a time. But one of the things that Cheryl encouraged us to use was the word verbage of, oh my gosh, girlfriends, at the table, you're going to start here. She says, oh my gosh, we've gotten to the best part. We get to go shopping. Because women don't want to be sold to, and they don't even necessarily want to buy, but they definitely want to shop. Do you agree? Mm-hmm. That when somebody says, let's go buy, you're like, but let's go shop. Woo, let's go. So I always say, oh my gosh, we get to the best part. We get to go shopping. And I would say, how many of you love to have the best deal when you go shopping? So I want to review everything we tried tonight, and I want to tell you some specials. And those are what Charlotte just did, because as you got, you know, when you bought the Miracle Set together, all of a sudden you got a price break. And then when you get the whole complete Ultimate Miracle Set, you get the bag for $1. I always do make sure then that I say, oh, and by the way, because aren't these valued at, are they $35? Yes. And I'll say, and these are, they're a $35 bag. That's where I use dollars. Yeah. So I say, oh my gosh, you get this fabulous $35 travel bag for $1 today. Now that's a deal. And they got it on their lap, and they are going to go home with that bag. You're going to figure out a way, right? Okay, so closing at the table and then doing individual closes. And again, I thought, oh my gosh, when I get with these women one-on-one, they're going to really think I'm pushy. No. This is where you really start asking those questions. Same questions you can ask at the table, which is, did y'all have a good time tonight? And how does your face feel? And you turn your head to the side, you take the back of your hand and you rub it on your cheek. And it's always the right cheek where they maybe used the microdermabrasion and the firming eye cream where they didn't use it on the other side. Does that make sense? And how does your face feel when you lower your head? Oh, does it feel great? Of course, course, that side I also use the primer, the foundation primer, and I don't put it on the other side. I always try to do a whole lot of things on one side, and if you really, 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 really want everybody to go home with the skincare, and they're not going anywhere but home, that you can draw a line right down the middle of their face and leave this face just exactly the way it came in, and then you're going to take this face and your side of the face, you're going to do everything on it. When they look at the two different sides, you're going to sell everything. Try it yourself. Of course, you're using it, so it doesn't really show like it would otherwise. Does that make sense? All right? And those are some things you can do. But the key is, did you have a great time, and you're shaking your head, and you're smiling, and what are they saying? Yes! And all through that skincare class, every single page that you turned of the beauty book, you are talking about their checkup, color, and checkup appointment. You're talking about that on every page, and you're relating it to something, right, that they used. But one of the things is then you're going to say, now what didn't we learn tonight that you want to make sure that we covered your checkup appointment? Make sure you write that on the back of your profile card. And during your party, we've talked about this before, you want to keep your party short and sweet so you don't want to get off on tangents. So every time they ask you a question about anything that has nothing to do with the exact few products you're using tonight, you go, great, we'll talk about concealer at your checkup appointment, write that on the back of your profile card. Great, we'll talk about eyebrows at your checkup appointment, write that on the back of your card. And your passion is that everybody has something written on the back of their card that they will learn at their checkup appointment. That's how you get them to book that, another good reason why they book it. But at the same token, it's helped you keep this party short and sweet and on target so you don't get off on eyebrows when nobody else at the table cares about eyebrows. Or concealing when nobody else at the table cares about concealing. Does that make sense? And if you take care of that tonight, she doesn't need to see you again, right? Checkup, checkup, checkup. At the end, they're going to be asking you for their checkup appointment instead of you having to worry about booking them. And as Vicki and I talked about this evening over a cup of coffee a little bit earlier, your passion is that you never ever have to go out and look for leads. That every single one of your appointments are exploding into 2 and 3 more appointments so that you're never ever having to have what I call a cold party. You're always going to have one warm person there every time because she's who you met last week at Jen's party, and this one you met last week at Vicky's party, and this one you met. Does that make sense? Okay, a couple of things that I want to cover that have to do with just closing in general. And this has to do with at the end of marketing. My husband's been in sales his entire life. I think he started as a salesperson. Only I don't know what he sold as a little boy, but he must have sold somebody on something because he could sell you anything. He could sell you a big snowball and you live in Alaska in an igloo. And you don't need that snowball, but he'll sell it to you. I mean, he really knows how to do this. But one of the things that he has always shared with me is that when he is sitting with a client, his absolute passion is he does not leave their space. They do not leave his space without him having referrals. He always wants referrals. Because if they're a client of his and they're happy with him, then when he calls their friends and family, it's easy for him to talk to his friends and family because he can say, hey, Susie, my name is Cathy Littlejohn. I just was with your sister-in-law, Jen, and she just is one of our amazing clients, and when I asked her who she knew that might love to have someone take care of their insurance needs, you were first on her list. Is there anything at this time that you might like a quote on your car insurance, car on your homeowners, etc.? But that's referrals. So what I want you to think about, especially now when you are leading a skincare class, girlfriends, Mary Kay says at the beginning of every party, you're going to say, this is the first of 2 appointments that you're going to have with me today, where we're going to be talking mainly about taking good care of your skin with skincare. And then we're going to get back together again a week to 10 days from now, and we're going to do a little more color and then refine and make sure that the products that you are using or you're having in your bathroom, that you love the colors, love the products, that we don't need to switch anything out. But this is the first of 2 appointments, and you keep talking about this. If that is in your vocabulary 8, 10 times during your event with them, they are going to ask you for that appointment. And when you leave every appointment with 2 or 3 or 4 appointments with women you just spent time with, she's going to want more from you, a discount, more learning from you, and she loves you. She's not going to cancel or postpone with you. She's going to hold that appointment with you. I always say 80% of the appointments you book from the street, postpone or cancel. And 80% of the appointments you book from appointments, hold. Now, which 80% do you want? Okay? So do not, I used to, in my mind, and this is crazy, I know, but when I was a consultant and a new director just learning and didn't know anybody, in my mind, imaginary, that the front door got bolted, locked, and no one could leave until they booked a second appointment with me. In my brain, that's what happened. And that helped me remember that the first thing that I want to make sure is the product's going to sell. You're going to sell the product, but I want to make sure you have those appointments booked. And there's 3 things you do. You sell sets, you book her checkup appointment and turn it into a party, and you book a time to share the marketing plan with her. This is what I want y'all to think about. Every time you share the marketing plan with somebody who has been in your space and watched you demonstrate, and they've watched the sale of the product within the last 24 to 48 hours of you sharing the marketing plan with you, you have a huge opportunity that she will sign with you. The further than 48 hours away from her seeing the business in action, the harder it is for her to make a decision and decide to do this business. The percentage of she's signing up and joining Mary Kay diminishes the further away from the sale of the product and the demonstration. She remembers that people bought and that the demonstration was easy and it was fun because it just happened. But if you go a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, a month, the further away it is, she doesn't think anybody's going to buy. And guess what? She's going to think it's either hard or she couldn't remember what it was like, or, oh no, I can't do that. So the key is, Mary Kay used to say within 24 to 48 hours from her having the experience of the product and watching the demo and seeing people buy, you're going to get her to sign. The further away, it's not going to happen. So this is what I want you to think in your mind. Booking her immediately for a cup of coffee or getting together at least on the telephone if you can't get that eyeball to eyeball. Eyeball to eyeball, you're going to have even a better opportunity for her to sign because she's going to see the excitement that you have. She's going to feel you, and the relationship's going to get built. And that's why people sign. They sign because of you. They sign because of the relationship that they're building with you, and they know that you're going to help them be included and part of a training center, etc. Okay? This is what I want you all to, this is in your brain. You will never forget this. If you have just marketed to someone, and she does not physically sign on the spot, she is not in your phone or in your pad, and you're filling it out, and she's going to think about it, then you're going to let her think about it if she really wants to. But you are going to rebook her immediately for another appointment. Immediately. Because this is what I would say. Let's say that Rachel and I just talked. And Rachel's like, well, this sounds really good. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I got to talk to my husband. I got to think about it. I got to pray about it. And then you're going to try to overcome those objections. But she is definitely saying, no, tonight is not the night. Then I'm going to say, you know what, Rachel? I want you to really make sure that this is, I want to make sure this is supposed to be for you. It may not be for you. Did you hear me say that? May. Just the word may. Not, this probably isn't for you. No, no, no. This may not be for you. What does that do? That allows this wall of, no, I'm not going to recruit right now, down a little bit. Like, oh, okay. So she's kind of, But I'll say, but you know what? I want you to watch me in action again. I want you to see some of your friends and family love this product. I want you to see the business one more time. Then you'll know for sure whether this is for you or not. So when in the next 4 or 5 days can we just gather 3 or 4 women together and we can have you watch me one more time if she hadn't already watched you? Are you following me? Because what will happen at that appointment is one of 2 things. Either she watches her friends and family start buying, and then she goes, oh my gosh, she's making all this money on my friends and family. They need to be my customers. This isn't really hard. They will buy. I will have customers. This is a good deal, and she will sign. And if not, you will have 4 or 5 more customers that could be possible hostesses, that could be possible team members. If you don't book that appointment and get her back in the swing of the sale of the product and the demonstration, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to let a week go by, and then 10 days are going to by, and 2 weeks are going to go by, and in your mind, though, oh, I've got this hot prospect. I've got this hot prospect. I've got this hot prospect. And you're going to think you have all these hot prospects that have said, I think I'm going to do this, but I'm not sure. And you're not out getting new because you think you have all these women that are ready to sign. Does this make sense? So the deal is this. When you market to someone, one of two things always happens. She either signs on the spot or you rebook her immediately to see the demonstration and feel the business again, so that you're either going to definitely get that team member that night, or you're going to meet more people that could be your prospective hostesses, clients, and it's going to keep you going. Does that make sense? All right, so y'all got it? So, in closing, everything has to have a follow-up. Just think always you don't want to leave anything without something else. Don't leave her without something. Either referrals or a follow-up. Does that make sense? Every time you leave somebody, you want one or the other. One or the other. So that your business continues to grow through the network of the relationships that you're building. Because that's the easiest way to do it, and you're not working with someone who doesn't know you. All right?